Arms and the Man. The play begins in the bedroom of Rena Petskov in a Bulgarian town in 1885 during the Serbo-Bulgarian War. As the play opens, Katrin Petskov and her daughter Rena have just heard that the Bulgarians have scored a tremendous victory in a cavalry charge led by Rena's fiancé, Major Sergei Saranov, who is in the same regiment as Rena's father, Major Paul Setskov. Rena is so impressed with his noble deeds of her fiancé that she fears that she might not be able to live up to his nobility. At this very moment, the maid, Luka, rushes in with the news that the Serbs have been chased through the streets and that it is necessary to lock up the house and all the windows. Rena promises to do so later, and Luka leaves. But as Rena is reading in bed, shouts are heard. There is a noise at the balcony window, and a bedraggled enemy soldier with a gun appears and threatens to kill her if she makes a sound. After the soldier and Rena exchange some words, Luka calls from outside the door and says that several soldiers want to search the house and investigate a report that an enemy has entered the house by climbing her balcony. When Rena hears the news, she turns to the soldier. He says that he is prepared to die, but he certainly plans to kill a few Bulgarian soldiers in her bedroom before he dies. Thus, Rena impetuously decides to hide him. The soldiers investigate, find no one, and leave. Rena then calls the man out from hiding. She nervously and absent-mindedly sits on his gun, but she learns that it is not loaded. The soldier carries no carriages. He explains that instead of carrying bullets, he always carries chocolates into battle. Furthermore, he is not an enemy. He is a Swiss, a professional soldier hired by Serbia. Rena gives him the last of a chocolate cream, which he devours, maintaining that she has indeed saved his life. Now that the Bulgarian soldiers are gone, Rena wants the chocolate cream man to climb back down the pipe drain, but he refuses to do so. He is no longer strong enough to climb down. When Rena goes to call her mother for help, the chocolate cream man crawls into Rena's bed and falls instantly asleep. In fact, when they re-enter, he is sleeping so soundly that they cannot wake him up. Act 2 begins 4 months later, in the garden of Major Petskov's house. The middle-aged servant, Nikola, is lecturing Luka on the importance of having proper respect for the upper class, but Luka has too independent a soul to ever be a proper servant. She has higher plans for herself than marry someone like Nikola, who she insists has the soul of a servant. Major Petskov arrives home from the war, and his wife, Katrin, greets him with 2 bits of information. She suggests that Bulgaria should have annexed Serbia, and she tells him that she has had an electric bell installed in the library. Major Sergei Ranov, Rena's fiancé and leader of the successful cavalry charge, arrives, and in the course of discussing the end of the war, he and Major Petskov recounts the now famous story of how a Swiss soldier escaped from climbing up a balcony and into the bedroom of a noble Bulgarian woman. The women are shocked that such a crude story will be told in front of them. When the Petskov goes into the house, Rena and Sergei discuss their love for one another, and Rena romantically declares that the 2 of them have found a higher love. When Rena goes to get her hat so that they can go for a walk, Luka comes in, and Sergei asks if she knows how tiring it is to be involved with a higher love. Then, he immediately tries to embrace the attractive maid. Since he is being so bluntly familiar, Luka declares that Miss Rena is no better than herself. Luka says Miss Reyna has been having an affair while Sergius was away. But she refuses to tell Sergius who Reyna's lover is, even though Sergius accidentally bruises Luca's arm while trying to force her to confess who the lover of Reyna is. When he apologizes, Luca insists that he kiss her arm, but Sergius refuses, and at that moment, Reyna re-enters. Sergius is then called away, and Catherine enters. The two ladies then discuss how incensed they both are that Sergius related the tale of the escaping soldier. Reyna, however, doesn't care if Sergius hears about it. She is tired of his stifled property. At that moment, Luca announces the presence of a Swiss officer with a carpet bag. Calling for the lady of the house, his name is Captain Bluntschli. Instantly, they both know he is the chocolate cream man who is returning the Major's old coat that has been used to disguise him. As they made rapid, desperate plans to send him away, Major Petkov hails Bluntschli and greets him warmly as a person who aided them in the final negotiation of the war. The old major insists that Bluntschli must be the house guest until he has to return to Switzerland. Act 3 begins shortly after the lunch takes place in the library. Captain Bluntschli is attending to a large amount of confessing paperwork in a very efficient manner, while Sergius and Major Petkov merely observe. Major Petkov complains about a favorite old coat being lost, but at the moment, Catherine rings a new library bell, sends Nicola after the coat, and I'll stand by thus retrieving his lost coat. When Reyna and Bluntschli are left alone, she compliments him on looking so handsome. Then she assumes a high and noble note and charges him concerning certain stories which he has told and the fact that she has had to lie for him. Bluntschli laughs at her noble attitude and says that he is pleased with her demeanor. Reyna is amused. She says that Bluntschli is the first person to ever see through her pretensions, but she is perplexed that he didn't feel into the packets of the old coat which she lent him. She had placed a photo of herself there with an inscription, "To my chocolate cream soldier." At this moment, a telegram is brought to Bluntschli relating the death of his father and the necessity of his coming home immediately to make arrangement for the 6 hotels that he has inherited. As Reyna and Bluntschli leave the room, Luca comes in wearing his sleeve in a ridiculous fashion so as to expose the bruises which are obvious on her arm. Sergius enters and asks if he can cure it with a kiss. Luca questions his true bravery and wonders if he has the courage to do so. She wonders if he has the courage to marry a woman who is socially beneath him, even if he loved the woman. Sergius asserts that he can do so. He is now engaged to a girl of a noble class, and that the talk of their love is absurd. Luca then lets him know that Bluntschli is his rival, and that Reyna will marry the Swiss soldier. Sergius is incensed. He sees Bluntschli and immediately challenges him to a duel. Then he retracts when Reyna comes in and accuses him of making love to Luca merely to spy on her and Bluntschli. As they are arguing, Bluntschli asks for Luca, who has been eavesdropping at the door. She is brought in. Sergius apologizes to her, kisses her arm, and then they become engaged. Bluntschli asks permission to become a suitor for Reyna's hand, and when he lists all his possessions, which includes 200 horses, 9,600 pair of sheep, 10,000 knives and forks, permission for the marriage was granted, and Bluntschli says that he will return in 2 weeks to marry Reyna. Succumbing with pleasure, Reyna gives a loving smile to her chocolate cream soldier.